2016 to order with roll call, please.
McAlpine.
Here.
Dudek.
Here.
Cavelli.
Here.
Chapman.
Here.
Thank you. And I will entertain a motion to allow trustee Jim Kossler to attend tonight's meeting via video conferencing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Welcome, Jim.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Jake, can you see if anybody signed it? I think we'll now move to the open forum where the public is invited to make an issue-oriented comment of any matter of public concern not otherwise on the agenda.
No.
Is there anybody here that has not signed in that would like to? Okay, we'll go ahead and close open forum. I have a couple things on my mayor's report, some fun stuff to do. We have some police department stuff to take care of. We have a employee recognition. Anthony Steinke's been with the Village of Cary Police Department for 5 years. We have a small token of our appreciation. Anthony, if you would join me up front.
And I'll take this opportunity to say some nice things about Officer Steinke. Anthony Steinke is an Army National Guard veteran. He served in Iraq. He's one of the department's firearms instructors. He's the OIC on the midnight shift primarily right now. He currently is our member that's assigned to the Northern Illinois Police Alarm System Emergency Services Team. They're on the containment team right now. And he was recently appointed to be a field training officer.
Congratulations.
Do over.
Thanks, Jay. And keeping up with the police department, we have another new police officer we'd love to have sworn in tonight. If you'll join me up here. Stephanie, do you have your family with you? Would you like them to come up and join?
I'd like to introduce to the board Stephanie Saavedra. She was a Lake in the Hills resident. She graduated from Jacobs High School. She attended the University of Illinois, Chicago, where she earned a 4-year degree in criminal justice and political science. She worked for Lake in the Hills for a short period of time, and she attended the Suburban Law Enforcement Academy, so she comes to us trained in basic law enforcement, which we like, because she can go right into the field training officer program. And she has a language proficiency in Spanish. So, Stephanie Saavedra.
Let's get it done, huh? Okay. Let's raise your right hand, please. I state your name.
I, Stephanie Saavedra,
Having been appointed to the office of patrol officer.
have been appointed to the, sorry, say it again.
Having been appointed to the office of patrol officer
I've been appointed to the position of police officer
in the village of Cary,
in the village of Cary,
in the county of McHenry,
in the county of McHenry,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of
the duties of the office of
police officer
police officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Welcome to the village of Cary.
And in keeping with a tradition, we've asked Stephanie who she'd like to have her badge pinned on by, and she's elected to have her boyfriend do it because mom's too afraid to stab her.
One more here, please.
Sure.
Let's do the paperwork first. Did you want to introduce your family here?
Yeah, just, like you said, my boyfriend Vince and, my mom.
Vince looks like he's packing too.
Yeah, terrible.
Okay.
Halloween costume.
So important.
Band-Aid.
And it's always toughest when it's a brand new shirt and there's no hole poked in it yet.
It's easier than the ring, though.
Usually someone's bleeding when that happens.
Almost there.
And I invite everyone that's here for this swearing in to go up to the conference room upstairs where there's a cake and coffee reception.
Let's go.
Nice meeting you.
Take a free caucus. Motion to
Yeah,
adjourn.
we'll just take a couple minute recess.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Got the good stuff done. That's good.
Oh, there's no presentation.
You can just announce that that was going to be rescheduled.
Yeah. All these police officers.
Okay, moving on. We were going to have a presentation from, but he had to reschedule, so we will reschedule when his schedule can accommodate us. Moving on, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda number 1.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
And I will entertain a motion to approve consent agenda items 2 through 4.
So moved. Second.
I'll do roll call on this, please, Nancy.
Okay, hang on 1 second. Cavilli,
Yes.
McAlpine,
Yes.
Dudek,
We're on number 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cosler,
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
Thank you, Nancy. We'll now open a public hearing to consider approval of ordinance 016-07-02, making the annual appropriation ordinance for the Village of Cary, McHenry County, Illinois, for the fiscal year beginning May 1st, 2016, and ending April 30th, 2017. So, can I make the, since it's a hearing, can I make the motion now too?
No, you do the hearing first.
Okay. Is there anybody here that would like to address the village board on behalf of our appropriations? None said, so they will forego the rest of the protocol for that. So I will entertain a motion to recess the village board meeting to open, oh, I did that already.
I'm going to close the public hearing.
Close, yeah. I'll entertain a motion to close the village board meeting.
Close the
for
hearing.
The public hearing for the 2016-2017 Village of Cary appropriation ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Chapman,
Yes.
Dudek,
Yes.
Cavilli,
Yes.
McAlpine.
Yes.
Thank you. Now I will entertain a motion to approve ordinance 016-0.
What'd you get?
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
Out of sight, out of mind.
I forgot.
Maybe we should put your picture up
I
over
know.
here.
That's all
Sorry,
right.
Jim.
Yes.
Sorry.
Did you get his vote?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I will entertain a motion to approve ordinance 016-07-02, making an annual appropriation ordinance for the Village of Cary, McHenry County, Illinois, for the fiscal year beginning May 1st, 2016, and ending April 30th, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Cavilli,
Yes.
Dudek,
Yes.
McAlpine,
Yes.
Cosler,
Yes.
yeah, see, Chapman.
Yes.
I will entertain a motion to approve resolution R16-07-01, authorizing the village administrator to execute an engineering design services agreement with Strand Associates, Joliet, Illinois, in the amount not to exceed $167,000 for work associated with the wastewater treatment plant improvement project, and authorizing the village administrator to approve a 10% contingency for unforeseen changes in scope for a maximum project budget of $183,000.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Thank you.
Director Morgan.
Eric?
Just brief overview, this is the contract for the next step in the improvements to the wastewater plant to meet our phosphorus limits for our MPDS permit with the state. The most qualified firm, Strand Associates, was negotiated with for this contract, and it was found to be within the range and reasonable for the services involved. We did include some additional services beyond the base scope at the time of budget, specifically to include assistance with the process for obtaining low-interest loans through the EPA, which will be a crucial step in financing the project, and also the addition of some other scope items that make sense to do at the same time as this improvement, specifically improvements to the disinfection system, replacing an antiquated chlorination process, and replacement of some gas digester mixing stations with a pump-based system. So these elements will be designed at the same time as the phosphorus project and also be eligible for the same low-interest loans. I can answer any questions.
Questions?
So are all those additional items that we're going to do now, is that the reason why it's over budget?
Correct. We had estimated originally about $150,000 for the design process, and their proposal ended up being about $167,000, and $15,000 of that scope is for the low interest loan services. So we actually got the other additional design costs at a cost below what we estimated they would be.
Okay.
Eric, when we have the water that comes from our residents, from our taps, and it goes into the wastewater, is there ever, and again, I'm thinking about Flint, Michigan here, is there ever any tests performed on the wastewater side for the heavy metals?
There are tests performed through the wastewater process. I'd have to double check specifically which metals, if lead is one of them, but there are numerous tests that are obviously conducted because the discharge into the river, the Fox River, that our plant is tributary to, does have very specific requirements on a variety of things.
And as we're,
Certain businesses that are required by law to get pretreatment done on site before it gets contributed to the municipal solid waste system. And so if they were going to be preparing effluent that had certain constituents, they have to treat it on site before they send it to the village.
Industrial users are typically for heavy metals like copper and
Sure.
elements like that.
what I'm specifically driving to is when we test our water system in the village, we tested at village-owned pump houses or places. We don't, is that correct?
Depends on which step in the process you're referring to. Yeah, for municipal drinking water treatment,
Yes.
there's tests done on the raw water at the pump itself, and then prior to the discharge from that well into the system. Then the wastewater plant obviously has testing points in the plant itself through the process stream at the effluent discharge and both up and downstream in the river of our discharge.
Okay. Hey, do our residents have any recourse to call up at Village Hall and say, hi, could you come over and test my water? I'm worried that there's lead in there. These pipes over here by Maplewood are so old, and I heard all about this stuff, and I'm worried about my kids' safety.
Yeah, residents by all means can, there's various services that, and laboratories that will do water testing for lead on for private services and private systems. But as far as residents that are concerned, obviously, the main culprit for introduction of lead is in the actual piping of the homes themselves or their own private service lines.
Right,
Like
which is why I was mentioning
Right.
that as long as we're testing only at the village sites. And the reason I mention this is the city of Chicago was told last week that they were doing the same thing. And, you know, I mean, residential places there since the turn of the century have been, and obviously they did the testing and they found several places where they did have high lead. And I don't know, you know, if there's anything that we want to do, but it sure would be sad to be surprised. And I just wanted to know if residents could call up and say, can you test my water in Fox Trails? Could you test my water in Cambria?
Well, obviously, we're testing for the drinking water in the primary system. So that water has been tested and meets or, you know, exceeds
Okay.
the requirements for safe drinking water levels.
But if it
And the
comes out
results
of
of
their
that are in
pipes.
our annual consumer confidence report. Obviously, the water flows one way from our system. So then the next step would be if there is lead introduction from a property owner's own internal plumbing piping, that's the side of the test that would have to be done on the on their end. Anything in the system wouldn't be contributing to that, it would be their own plumbing.
What
typically.
our mains?
No,
Okay.
their own plumbing in their home.
Okay. All right, thank you very
But
much.
if residents have questions, by all means, they feel free to contact us and we can direct them to the right resources and answer questions like
And
that.
good, I did ask them to contact you tomorrow, so.
Sure.
I'm
And
sure
I
we'll
would,
get
I would
them.
explain from my service here in other communities, it's called lead service. So basically, it's the connection from the water main, to the house that can still be lead in 1920s type homes. And I mean, those are some in Chicago or wherever that still do exist. And whenever there are capital improvement projects, typically municipalities encourage the private line to get replaced. The challenge is sometimes that's somewhere between $5,000 and $8,000. And so over the years, some have been picked off through that kind of mechanism, and at times they haven't. That doesn't mean that there's a lead service, issue from the standpoint of state standards, but those are sites that, ought to be even more vigilant about paying attention to these sorts of measurements. And yes, we will obviously and clearly provide advice and/or counsel if a resident has a unique issue. And I mean, I understand the sampling answer to it because a lot of times this is on the private side, but our staff will help, resident to the extent we can with the
Thanks.
guidelines and
Thanks,
policy.
Any other questions for Director Marmoto? Roll call, please.
Cosler,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes?
Cavelli,
Yes.
Dudek,
Yes.
McAlpine.
Yes.
Thank you. And I will entertain a motion to approve ordinance 016-07-03, granting a conditional use for a monument sign for the Trinity Oaks Christian Academy located at 233 Trinity Oaks Way.
So moved. Second.
Hey, Brian?
As mentioned, the Christian Academy is requesting approval to install a monument sign on their property. Public hearing was held before the committee of the whole on Tuesday, June 21st, and based off the discussion at that hearing, the board recommended approval of a motion to approve a conditional use for a monument sign for the Trinity Oaks Christian Academy located at 233 Trinity Oaks Way.
I don't think we have any other questions regarding this. Roll call, please.
McAlpine,
Yes.
Cavelli,
Yes.
Dudek,
Yes.
Cosler,
Abstain.
Chapman.
Yes.
Thank you. I will entertain a motion to approve ordinance 016-07-04, granting a conditional use for billboard sign for Liberty Outdoor Advertising for the property located at 65 Northwest Highway.
So moved?
Second.
Similar to the previous case, public hearing was held on June 21st to review the request of Liberty Outdoor Advertising to replace the existing billboard on the subject property. During the public hearing, the committee of the whole did recommend approval of a motion for conditional use of the subject location with the conditions listed in the staff report before you. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have regarding the request.
I think this was all discussed. Roll call, please.
Cosler,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes?
McAlpine,
Yes.
Cavelli,
Yes.
Dudek.
Abstain.
Thank you. One down. And I will entertain a motion to approve ordinance 016-07-05, granting a variance for a billboard sign for Liberty Outdoor Advertising for the property located within the Union Pacific Railroad right-of-way identified as PIN number 20-18-502-003.
So moved.
Second.
Any other go ahead.
Similar to the previous request, the public hearing was held on this request on June 21st. The committee of the whole, during that public hearing, recommended approval of a motion to grant the variance for the proposed sign with the 3 conditions that are listed in the staff report.
I'll still state that I wish we had been able to come to an agreement about an electronic sign, a forward-looking and an advantage for multiple businesses to advertise here in Cary. And I look forward to the day when it will. And I thank Brian and Jack for your patience with us. And thank you. And I'm glad to see we've got some beautiful signs that are going up. Thank you.
Any other comments? Roll call, please.
McAlpine,
Yes.
Cosler,
Yes.
Cavelli,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes?
Dudek.
Abstain.
Thank you. Got them both done. Okay, moving forward with our administrator's report.
Thank you, Mayor. One item to note tonight, wanted to just remind the board and the village and the public, August 2nd is our first August board meeting that has been canceled as a result of National Night Out being hosted in downtown Cary. I believe, Chief, that starts at 6 o'clock?
It does.
If you can give a quick overview of the National Night Out, it'd be a good opportunity.
It's really, National Night Out is a nationwide initiative meant to strengthen the interaction between law enforcement and the community. In our particular instance, we have a number of different agencies participate in our National Night Out. We have military, the Marines, and I believe the National Guard will be there. We'll have other law enforcement agencies like the state police. And this year, the Public Works Department is going to have a sizable display there as well. And there'll be other fun things to do like face painting. I think there's some special Olympics fundraising effort where you get to either dunk or get a police officer wet and things of that nature. So it's really meant to strengthen those ties between the police and the community. And also, we take it as an opportunity to educate people on a number of different things. I know I've invited the McHenry County Substance Abuse Coalition to have a representative there, so we'll have that there as well. So there's resources, there's educational opportunities, and there's our interaction with our fellow department personnel.
It's a great
It should be
night out.
from 6 to 8:30, I think.
We'll have
Thank you.
Miss Carrie Grove girls there too.
Yes, and I know I didn't, and I have to, without missing this, and I know it's something that I have to make sure I do, is thank the people on the committee.
National.
Bill Pickett, National Night Out Committee. Bill Pickett particularly, he's been kind of the spearhead of this, and they do a lot of the heavy lifting and do things to make us look good. So I really do appreciate their efforts, and we're going to have a meeting tomorrow, as it turns out. So,
Thank you, Chief. One other quick update. We have paid out all of the grant decision applications that have been asked for by the village, except for one, which is the J.C.'s at this point. The event is still in the planning stage. It's my understanding that there are dates that are thought to be August 12, 13, and 14. We will be working with some of the volunteers from the J.C.'s over the coming week because, quite frankly, July 19th board meeting would be the last and most important date to hit from the standpoint of the agenda for any road closures or any other public acts that need to occur to allow that to transpire. When that gets fleshed out, we'll probably have more of a story to tell, hopefully 2 weeks from now. There's a lot of work to do on that event. And we're about, a month out. So we will continue to reach out to some of the volunteers and work to do what we can as a village to make that as much a success as it can be. That's all I had tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Department head reports, Chief? Anything besides National Night Out? Eric? Jacob? No, sir. Who's sitting next to you? It's that kind of day, Brian.
Homebound. Homeboy.
Just a brief development update. We do have a lot of construction projects going on in town right now. Obviously, Dunkin' Donuts is substantially through their project. They have the roof on the structure, windows up. Starbucks started construction on their facility today. They started clearing up the site. They had some silt fencing, construction fencing up in the previous week, but they've started in earnest out in that property. Burger King continues to move forward. The building was delivered to the site. Somewhat unique to say, but they are working on the foundation, other improvements for that property as well. And then the Garden Place apartment projects just started framing on a third structure on that site. So they're moving forward through their construction project. Kids are kids. We're still waiting for revisions to come back for their plans for their permit submittal, but I envision that permit being issued likely within the next month.
Great.
Oh, and yeah, thanks for reminding me, Chief. And then Quiznos and will be opening the former marathons, or the existing marathon station. They'll be opening for business tomorrow, according to sign of the property. So happy to have them, and then Benji's Yogurt as well in there.
Brian, and maybe Chief, have there been any incidents, now we opened up that local community mart there where the old 7-Eleven was, have there been any incidents or anything?
No.
Thanks, Chief. Thanks very much. Thank you, Brian.
Brian, I have a question, and maybe I missed it. Have we, is it public who the new tenant in the former Galates is?
They haven't formally submitted a permit application yet, so I don't officially want to make that public. But I envision that that will be a item possibly on the agenda for 2 weeks from tonight for some requests.
FYI, the number of residents already.
Yeah, there's,
They know.
yeah, there's a,
It's been a week.
it's hard to keep a secret in this town, but there'll be an Italian restaurant is looking at the facility that will be doing some significant improvements to the space as far as interior renovations, potentially some exterior improvements as well. But there will be a few asks that'll be before this board likely in 2 weeks related to that business.
And on the Burger King, is the building that is sitting there, that's
Yes.
it?
Mhm. Yeah, it needed to be, apparently the company that built the building was in having financial issues, so it had to be delivered ahead of the project being ready for to be situated on the site. So it was delivered early last week from that standpoint. And then when the foundation is set and in place and all the plumbing and whatnot from that standpoint, the building will be lifted and sited on the property from that standpoint. And then there might be some finishing touches of the exterior of it as well.
That, I believe, is the spirit of the question, correct? This finishing touches? Is that, or is it the footprint?
No, I just didn't know if that was
That's the
the
size of the
extent
building.
of the building.
That's the footprint
That's all
of
you
it.
It's a
get.
it's a 1,000 square
That's
foot
all you're
building.
getting. I said no.
But it'll look like a Burger King. you know.
Yeah, it'll look like the plans that we approved, but it's a drive-through only restaurant, so it doesn't have the seating inside of it.
It won't
But
look like a modular building.
yeah, it'll have the elevations that were submitted through the
Gonna put
zoning
a
process.
cupola on it.
Won't make any difference. It'll be a prefab cupola.
Aren't they all though? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Any future agenda items and discussion by the village board?
I just want to bring up something really quick, that next year, we do a big veterans picnic. The AMVETs, both Cary and Fox River Grove combine and do it. And it's just something that I've done for about the last 10 years or so. And I would love to see us, and I didn't think about it at the time, but that's something that we should really promote. I mean, next year's the 35th year of doing it. It's a phenomenal event to have these veterans bust in from, there had to be close to 400 from bust in from different hospitals, from VA hospitals. And it's a very moving tribute to our veterans, but also for our community. So I would love to see us, I'm going to reach out to them and see if maybe they can apply for a grant next year, because I talked to Gary Foster about it. But I just think it's a great reflection on our community. It's a combined effort for us to do something that's to honor our military.
Ellen, is this the one that Chris from Chris's Coach House did for all
Yes,
those
the
years?
one that used to be over at Chris's Coach House.
That's
It's phenomenal.
great. Fantastic program.
Yeah.
Anything else? Thank you. We were going to cancel our executive session for this evening, and I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect.